Welcome to Ergo Everything. We're going to talk about the Advantage or Kinesis Advantage 2. That's the keyboard I have. I've got it here on display. In my circumstance, I did tape a trackball to it, so it doesn't come with this. It is $30 if that's something that you decide you would want to do with yours. But we're going to talk about this keyboard that I have had for 6 years. I've had a couple other ergonomic keyboards, and ultimately I would just have to recommend this one. I really wouldn't recommend anything else. So we're going to talk about why I think it's great, some cons, because also this is not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. I just feel like it's very hard to find information about RSI and how to treat it, and so I want to try to make that information available. So when it comes to looking for an ergonomic keyboard, there's really three hand motions that we make when using the computer that our bodies really don't like, and so you want to look for ergonomics that can prevent you from making those motions. So one is wrist extension, which looks like this. It also just kind of looks like this when you hold your hand and are just keeping your hand up as opposed to dangling like this. That uses your extensor muscles. And when doing that all day, every day, it can really put some wear and tear on them. That's one of my biggest issues. So that's a bad one. This keyboard really helps with that. Another one is, I believe this is called ulnar deviation because this is your ulnar bone. This right here can cause issues with your ulnar nerve. And I have those issues too. I get really numb, painful, tingly these fingers and down sometimes. And so mostly that can be caused by using a mouse like this, but it can also be caused when you reach out to hit the enter key or the tab key or the shift key on your keyboard. Our body really just doesn't like to make that movement, so you shouldn't be doing it on a repetitive basis. And then the third thing is that in anatomical position, our arms are out like this. And here we've got two bones in our arm, one here, one here. And in this position, they're like, I guess, comfortable. When you flip it like this, supination, the bones, those two bones in your wrist, they have to cross over each other. And I don't know exactly why, but our body finds that kind of stressful. And so having your hand in this position all day, not ideal. You want to look for what's called tenting in a keyboard, and that is where it's tilted a little bit so that your hand is more close to a handshake position as opposed to just completely flat. You want to lift it up a little bit. And this keyboard is going to take care of all of those. There are some other keyboards that can take care of some, and I might mention a few. But let's start with extension. So this, the reason I would only recommend this keyboard is because I don't know any other that can help specifically with extension. And the way it helps is that we've got these little key wells, and then we have a surface right here. And this surface is designed for the base of your palm to sit right here. And then, sorry, bug. And then with the key well, all the keys are so close together that you don't have to move your hand at all. You can just let your hand rest and type. And it's super comfortable. It's super great. We love that. So that really prevents you from having to lift up. Other keyboards will some people will get one of these and they can rest their hand like this. Not ideal though, because one, you're still going to potentially be doing a lot of extension because you still kind of have to just because your wrist is resting there doesn't mean you don't have to lift. Also, it can put pressure on the carpal tunnel and that median nerve. I've been lucky enough not to have any carpal tunnel issues, but those will cause numbness and pain in these fingers, and really bad. We don't want that. So helps with in that regard. There's only one other only one other keyboard that I know of that can help with the extension, and it looks just like this, but it looks like it came from the 90s and it costs twice as much. Okay, and then ulnar deviation. So um, if you're looking for a keyboard, you definitely want to make sure you find one where the keys for both hands are split into separate parts. Some keyboards, they literally have two pieces and you can like move those two pieces wherever you want. I had one of those. I had the Matthias Ergo Pro, and I thought it was going to be better than this because I could just like adjust it and get just like the perfect fit. But it actually just ended up being a pain and a half because like no matter what I did, I never like really got them positioned just right. And this one, if I need to like move the keyboard, it's always like the right position. So it helps with the ulnar deviation because the keys are separate. When the keys are all next to each other, it kind of forces you to do this, forces you to kind of crank that hand. So when you're able to separate them, you can get a straight wrist. It also helps because it's got these thumb keys. So I have changed the key. You can also change the keys, and it's really easy to do. You don't have to be a programmer or anything. It's literally so easy. I'll just do it on the fly. So I've got like space here, enter here. I put enter here over here as well. I put the shift key here because I ended up getting nerve pain when I was reaching for the shift key when I was taking a programming class. And so really you can shift the weight of this to your thumb and it makes it really easy, really great. Next one. So the pronation versus tenting. It doesn't necessarily look like it from here, but there is tenting. It's curved more here, and then it goes up, and then it curves down again, and it's really a perfect amount of tenting. Again, it's not adjustable, but honestly, that kind of just makes it easier. So I also want to show you me typing at this computer as well, so you can kind of get a hopefully three-dimensional representation of what the keyboard actually looks like, what it's like, and listen to the keys. They are mechanical keys. They sound really good. And notice how my hands never have to ulnar deviate to reach for any keys because they've got those thumb keys. Here I'm demonstrating using the mouse. What's nice is you really, when using the mouse, because you gotta use both hands, your wrists never bend. It's really just your fingertips. And it's got a lot of precision. I don't think any mouse is perfect, but I think this is a good supplement to keep the keyboard shortcuts I use. There's some other pluses. There's some other pluses. So you can change the layout of the keys like I talked about, but you can also create shortcuts. So when I was working at the chat center, I often had to tell people kind of like the same thing over and over again. They would ask about common questions, and I would just kind of have like a rote response. And before this keyboard, I had a notepad and I would copy and paste. But I made it even easier on myself, and I just put the notes into the keyboard, and then I could hit like Alt G, Alt L, whatever keyboard shortcut I wanted to make. And then it would just paste in my message. I also, if you're good at using keyboard shortcuts, you can do that just to automate different tasks. So I think it's really great. It doesn't have a dedicated keypad, but if you click one of these buttons, I think it is this side, turns into a keypad, and oh, you're not going to be able to see it, but underneath the keys, it has the numbers. And so basically you can just switch it to being a regular keyboard, or it can turn into a number keypad. And that's like really cool. Gosh, with this headset, I feel like a salesman. I promise this video is not sponsored in any way. I just like this keyboard. Um, so let's actually talk about some downsides because there are some downsides. One, I'm the kind of person who just literally wants to be invisible, and this keyboard, it gets a lot of attention, and a few nerds will think it's cool and awesome, and then everyone else, like, I don't know why, but I've gotten this comment, like, at least 5 times about how this keyboard looks like it belongs on a spaceship. And I get it. Personally, I think it looks really pretty. I've heard it say people say it's really ugly, and I can totally get that. It's made its job is function, and it's not trying to look super pretty. Um, Another little downside, I don't think there's anything the company could do to fix this, but when I have my hand resting here, I can reach everything except the P and the Q because the pinky is so short. So I actually have to like kind of lift up my hand to reach those. And it's kind of annoying, but like I don't know how they could fix it. Like your pinky is just like really, really short compared to the rest of your hands. And so it just doesn't fit perfectly, unfortunately. Um, Another like little downside is that when you switch it into the keypad mode, it has a number lock. And, I'm sure someone needs the num lock, but I always hit it, and then I forget that I hit it, and the next time I try to use the numbers, like, it's not typing anything, and then it's, like, really kinda confusing and frustrating. I didn't know what it was for, like, 6 months. I would just, like, reset my keyboard. Um, so if you get the keyboard, be cautious of that. If the number keys aren't working, hit the num lock. It's probably what's going on. Um Then, like, the biggest downside, though, is that you can't see it so well from there. It's a tall keyboard. Because they are creating, this place to rest your palm, and they have the dipped keys, which allow you to do that. That's, like, the main pro of the keyboard, but it's also the main con. Um, it, um it's so tall when you're going to type. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. So this is not the surface I would be typing on. But it's so tall that you have to lift your chair up, and then for me, my feet couldn't touch the ground anymore, and it was worth it because my hands were in such pain. I brought in like a little box to work, and I put my feet on the box. But then, like, you know, the table was because my chair was up so high, I didn't have enough room to like cross my legs under the table. Always had to be like sitting up just so perfectly. And that's kind of a pain. Unfortunately, I feel like it's worth it. I ended up getting a standing desk, which I'm sitting at right now, specifically so I could get the keyboard to the right height, and then I could sit at like the appropriate height for my feet as well. So that is a big downside. Um, the I would mostly recommend this keyboard, but if you wanted to get the Ergodox and you're not having like serious pain, you just kind of like want to get an ergonomic keyboard, maybe a cool looking keyboard. Ergodox, I think, is like $270, and I think it's mostly a good option. Anyway, so this is the Advantage 2 Kinesis keyboard. Kinesis has a couple other keyboards, but definitely get this one. Don't get the other ones. That is my recommendation. It served me really well over these 6 years. I actually have 2 of them because at one point I was doing school and work at the same time, so I wanted 2. It's a really great keyboard. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you want to see any other videos, let me know, like and subscribe, and see you guys.